It occurred to me that I may not have adequately explained why I'm doing these poetry recitations. It was my grandfather years ago who turned me back onto poetry after a long spell of being away due to some bullying efforts of a former teacher, no less, that I had. And listening to my elderly grandfather recite the cremation of Sam McGee and the ballad of Yukon Jake from his youth was inspiring. It was awesome, and it got me back into poetry. And I'm not doing this to increase the digital noise out there or to show off how well I can recite poetry or how many I know. I know people whose knowledge of poetry far exceeds mine and are much better at reciting these. Rather, I'm doing it for this reason. If someone sees these and decides, hey, I can do that, and believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. But if someone sees these and says, I can do that, that's pretty cool. I want to memorize some poems. And poetry holds lessons for us in a very succinct package that we can keep in mind and carry with us everywhere. If someone does that, just one person, then I've passed on that gift my grandfather passed on to me. And that would be pretty cool. So tonight's selection is Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. And this was written during a friendly wager he had with his friend Horace Smith. And if you've read Horace Smith's version of this poem, you probably can recognize why Percy Bysshe Shelley's is the one that's been more famous throughout the years. But it was published in 1818, and the inspiration behind it was the British Museum had acquired a bust and torso, the younger Memnon, of Ramses II, arguably the greatest of the Egyptian pharaohs. And Ramses II was referred in Greek in antiquity as Ozymandias. So the theme of the poem, Hamlet had mentioned the proud man's contumely, and that this poem hits on that. I think it'll be pretty obvious. But here is Percy Bysshe Shelley, Ozymandias. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read which yet survive stamped on these lifeless things. The hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone, level sands stretch far away.